Hello, my name's Sophie D'Souza and welcome to my channel Sophie Stained Glass. Today I'm going to do an absolute beginner's tutorial on how to make this mirror with a border. It's incredibly simple because it only uses straight lines. You can use any size lead you have to hand and any size mirror, which you can get for free offcuts from your local glazers. So I'll take you step by step through this, and if you have any questions at the end, please let me know, and I hope you find it interesting. So here is my offcut of mirror, and I'm just simply going to base my finished item on the size this happens to be. So the first thing to do is draw around your mirror. Got a bit of a nick out there, but that will get covered up by the lead. This is just some old paper. Now I'm going to do a border, simple border, and I'm going to make it the size of this ruler for ease. And I'm going to overshoot because that's easiest. So you can see I'm lining it up with the outside edge of my line. There we are. There we are. Now if this mirror isn't straight, it doesn't really matter, so long as I make everything to fit. Okay, so there we have it. Now how we approach the corners is quite important. Leaded work isn't as strong as copper foil. Solder is much stronger than lead. And if I take this lead line all the way out to here, it might start to fold or bend. So what I'm going to do is do them all in opposite directions, if you see what I'm getting at here. So whichever way up I put my mirror, it's not going to be tempted to fold under its own weight. So yeah, for those of you who aren't familiar, copper foil, all the joints, all the way along the joint is solder, 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 solder. But with lead, you only solder where the pieces join to each other. And lead is really soft. Okay, now I think I will change my mind, and I will put, I think, shall I? No, I won't. I'll say it like this. So you would draw it out in pencil, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do a mix of blues and oranges and reds of different sizes and colours, some big, some small. But the main thing that you will notice is that everything is based on straight lines, because this is a beginner piece and I am being kind. Let's do a big piece. No, that's too big. So yes, these are going to be highlights of colour, these little rectangles, and the rest is going to be blue. So I won't spend too long doing this. I think you get the idea. I never like to make anything symmetrical because this is handmade. We want it to look handmade, and we don't want it to all match up too carefully. That's to say, this side and that side, I'm staggering where the colours go. There we are. And I'm varying the thickness of these lovely little coloured pieces. Okay. Now, you can, if you want to, do a bit of colouring in at this stage to decide where your accents or what they're going to be. I'm just going to go and get my blue, which is the majority. Right, so I've got my glass selected, and what you need to do now is number your pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Quite a lot of pieces, but it won't take so long to cut when you see what I'm going to do. I've selected opaque glass because this is a mirror surround. It won't have a source of light behind it, and so for the colours to show up to their best effect, I'm using opaque glass. So I put my glass on the inside edge of the line. Now I can see the end of the line there and the end of the line there. As you can see with the lead cut, the glass cutter, the wheel is in the middle, so you have to leave that slightly over 1 millimetre on either side. So when you're positioning your ruler, that's what you've got to bear in mind. I want to cut to the inside edge of this line. You want to keep the cutter perfectly perpendicular, that's to say at a right angle to your glass, and at an angle like this. So perpendicular in this direction, not like that, not like that, and about like that. If you go too shallow, the heel of the cutter will rub on the glass. So you want to be able to use this grinding wheel. So I'm going to cut a few lengths of glass. Oops. If you can't see your pattern through your glass, you can put your glass on a light box and that will help immensely. The other thing you can do is cut your pattern out and lay it on top of your glass. Draw around it and then cut. But that's a bit laborious and I'm a bit lazy. So I am just using the sneaky little lines sticking out either side to line up my glass. Now I reckon 4 of these lengths will be adequate. There's lots of videos where I look directly at how to cut glass. So go to my complete and absolute beginners section and you will find them there. So I'm just going to do the same thing now with my other glass. Not sure how much of it I need. So I'm just using small offcuts because why not? This doesn't have an exactly straight edge, but it doesn't really matter on a piece like this over such a small distance. And just in case you're wondering, sometimes I cut towards myself and sometimes I cut away from myself, just to keep life interesting. I've seen other people use cutters like this. I can't do that. I use it like that. Right. Bit of red. And a little bit of turquoise. Now then, I can see there is where I need to cut up to. I'm going to do it from the other side because that's where my cutter's going to start. I'm doing it by eye because I have quite a straight eye. If you're not confident doing it by eye, use a ruler, measure. Now, there is something which I forgot to mention, which is when I do borders, I often find it shrinks or it grows. So what I do is I leave the last piece in the length and cut it when I'm actually leading. And I'm going to do the same thing with the width. And hopefully that will become easier to understand when I'm actually leading. But that is definitely a top tip, because you'll be surprised how much things grow and shrink. So this piece I'm going to cut too big, and then when I come to do the leading, I am going to cut it to size. Same with this one, overshoot. Didn't cut that very carefully. Right. Again, I'm going to overshoot. It might come too small, it might come too big, I don't know. Now I'm going to number them. So now I'm just going to square off the end of this. Need my grozers. There's not enough leverage on this, so I just use my grozers to snap. And I'm just going to randomly start putting in bits of other colour. See, how many bits of colour have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So about 3 of each. Right, that's the orange. Some turquoise. Turquoise and orange always look nice. I think I'll do one here. Oh, was I going to? Oh, yes, I was going to overshoot this one. Right, there we go. Let's do a bit of a yellow. This is a bit iridized on one side, this yellow. Let's do yellow, and let's do a yellow here. Okay. Red. Red is going to be very similar to the orange. Okay. Red. might this around a bit. I knew this was going to happen. Can't decide. Let's do a red here. Red there, which means I will do, I think I'll do a yellow there. Yellow and a red here. Yeah. Overshoot. So 25. So there we go. Quite simple. And now you're going to see me lead it together. The next stage. Not forgetting, of course, little mirror in the middle.